Venezuela fell in 72 hours.
You can clearly hear helicopters in the distance. It's 1:58 in the morning. They're attacking Fort Pula.
Greenland's next, but leaked intelligence suggests Canada might be Trump's ultimate target. On January 3rd, 2026, the world woke up to something unthinkable. American Delta Force operators stormed the presidential compound in Caracas at 2 a.m.
The United States just attacked Venezuela's capital, hitting military facilities in the country. President Trump ordered this operation. There were multiple explosions in Caracas starting at around 2 a.m. local time. You can see the video here coming in. It shows low-flying aircraft in the city. This is the first U.S. military attack within the country.
By 5:21 a.m., Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was blindfolded, wearing a gray Nike tracksuit aboard the USS Iwo Jima, headed to face trial in New York. President Trump posted the photo himself on Truth Social. Maduro, the leader of a sovereign nation, captured like a fugitive. The operation, codenamed Absolute Resolve, wasn't just about one man. Trump made it clear, we're running Venezuela now. U.S. companies will control its oil, the largest proven reserves in the world. 50 million barrels daily, $5 billion in one day. Venezuela's wealth, now American property. But here's where it gets chilling. 3 weeks later, Trump stood at the World Economic Forum in Davos and said this.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland. He demanded immediate negotiations with Denmark. He claimed Greenland was essential for American security. He said he wouldn't use force, but then added, we probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, where we would be, frankly, unstoppable.
I would like to make a deal of, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
Think about that. Venezuela was a warning shot. Greenland is the current demand. So what comes after? Remember that AI-generated map Trump posted? It didn't just show Greenland as U.S. territory. Canada was there too. All of it, from Vancouver to Newfoundland, draped in the stars and stripes. Trump captioned it casually, as if redrawing sovereign borders was just another Tuesday. But NATO leaders in that image, Macron, Maloney, Keir Starmer, they weren't smiling. They were sitting in the Oval Office, witnessing America's new doctrine, expansion. This isn't new. Trump's been floating the idea of Canada as America's 51st state since he returned to office.
Why don't you just join our country, become the 51st state, and you get it for free?
He made the offer directly to Prime Minister Mark Carney when they met at the White House in 2025. Carney rejected it firmly. There are some places that are never for sale. We're sitting in one right now.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
But Trump doesn't take no for an answer. NBC News recently reported that Trump has been privately complaining to aides about Canada's vulnerability to U.S. adversaries in the Arctic. He's called Canada's defense systems weak. He's questioned whether Canada can protect its own sovereignty. And here's the terrifying part. 2 senior Canadian officials confirmed that Prime Minister Carney is now considering sending soldiers to Greenland for military exercises with NATO allies, as a direct response to Trump's threats.
2 senior Canadian officials tell CBC News that Prime Minister Mark Carney is considering sending soldiers to Greenland for military exercises with NATO allies.
Let that sink in. Canada is preparing to send troops to defend another country's sovereignty because they fear their own might be next. The pattern is undeniable. Venezuela, captured. Greenland, under negotiation. Canada, vulnerable. Retired General Tom Lawson, former Chief of Defense Staff for the Canadian Armed Forces, said it plainly. Canada's security hangs in the balance. Our 2 most important alliances, NORAD and NATO, are being shaken to their very core. He also admitted something devastating. Canada has done very little to bolster our claim to sovereignty since it was given to us over 100 years ago. Trump knows this. He's counting on it. Why does Trump want Greenland? Officially, it's about security. The island sits between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans. It's strategically vital for missile defense, especially Trump's Golden Dome system. It has rare earth minerals worth trillions. But here's what Trump actually said. You need ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease. Ownership. not partnership, not alliance, ownership. The United States already has military bases in Greenland under a 1951 agreement with Denmark. They don't need to own Greenland to use it, just like they don't need to own Canada to secure the Arctic, unless this isn't about security at all. Trump's national security strategy explicitly calls for U.S. dominance over the entire Western Hemisphere, not partnership, dominance. Venezuela gave him oil, Greenland gives him minerals and Arctic access. But Canada? Canada has everything. The world's third largest oil reserves, vast freshwater resources, the Northwest Passage, a shipping route that climate change is making navigable for the first time in human history, rare earth minerals, uranium, and the longest Arctic coastline of any nation. If Trump truly wants dominance over the Western Hemisphere, Canada isn't just a target, it's the prize. On January 3rd, Trump's forces took Maduro in under 4 hours. On January 20th, Trump posted an image of himself planting the American flag on Greenland with the caption, "Greenland, U.S. territory established 2026. Just 2 days ago, Trump announced a preliminary agreement with NATO about Greenland that could include U.S. sovereignty over military bases and mineral rights. Venezuela fell. Greenland is falling. The question isn't if Canada is next. The question is when. European allies are panicking, NATO is fracturing, Denmark is scrambling to negotiate, and Canada is caught between defending its sovereignty and avoiding economic retaliation from its largest trading partner. Prime Minister Carney just arrived in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum, where he'll meet with European leaders and NATO allies. Trump will be there too, later this week. Every handshake will be watched, every word analyzed.
As the natural logic of international relations reasserting itself, there is a strong tendency for countries to go along to get along, to accommodate, to avoid trouble, to hope that compliance will buy safety.
Because everyone knows, if Trump can take Venezuela and pressure Denmark into surrendering Greenland, what's stopping him from moving on Canada?
Going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
This is the story the mainstream media is afraid to connect. Venezuela, Greenland, Canada. 3 dots forming one terrifying line.
When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country.
Subscribe now so you don't miss what happens next. Because this isn't over. It's just beginning. Drop a comment. Do you think Trump is actually targeting Canada? Or is this all just negotiation tactics? Hit that like button if you want us to keep exposing the truth. This is history unfolding in real time, and you're watching it here first.